Hello and welcome back to the GorillaBiker, and today myself and Aidan, who can't find his Cardo. I did have other plans for video today, but Aidan ruined them.
Yeah.
Ruined them.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're not really, are you?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So we've altered our plans. By we, I mean me. I planned all of this actually, all of it. I said by we altered our plans, but by we I mean me.
Yes.
You don't make plans because of you. Well, actually, it was also because of Toaster. Yeah. Oh, you're about to find out. We're going to Cullahill Castle. Now, the only thing is today, even if my drone was working, it is far too windy to fly a drone, so there will be no droneage. But other than that, we're going to try get in and have a look around. We'll see. I think we can get in. From Google Street View, we can get in. So we'll try have a stealthy little look around. The 360 cam is on Aidan's bike, and he has accepted full liability. If it falls off, he has to pay full.
I'm afraid of it.
Yeah, it'll probably be fine. It hasn't fallen off this bike yet. But what I want to also talk about today, and Aidan behind us does not know this yet. Oh my god, that's bumpy. Is, you know, why everyone feels like we need to buy new bikes all the time. Like myself and Aidan, I know this isn't an old bike, it's 2011. I'm sure that's old for some people, but for me it's only just 10 years old. It's in its 11th year, say. And so for me it's not old at all. But what I would like to see more of, because, you know, I think I've spoken about it before a long time ago in the video, is when we were growing up, we were given the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Now, I'm not going to get into a big green spouting thing, because that's not me. I don't do that anyway. But one thing I will say is, you know, with that, yeah, you have to look at the stages. It was reduce, then reuse, and then recycle. And everyone is so hung up on recycling these days, everyone forgets about reducing and reusing. And reducing for me should be like, don't build brand new bikes. And then reuse would be reuse old ones, because, you know, we have the ability to repurpose our older bikes. We can refurbish them, we can do all that stuff. It's just that we don't. I don't know why we don't, but we don't. Now we're into Thurles, which is also why I threw on the cameras back there, because I wanted to show you all a bit of this town as well. It can be, there's some cool historical bits here as well. And it's funny because, you know, obviously when I go on these kind of castle-y things, I try to spot some extra older stuff, and it's Ireland is just littered with them. Like on the way here, there's 2 unmarked kind of ruins as well on the road. That both would be worth stopping and looking at. It's just there's so many of them that, you know, you going to the named ones is probably the easier thing to do. So that's what we're doing. So this is Thurles, and that's really cool, I think. Like, again, I'm not a religious person, but I do like the architecture. I'm pretty certain that's a religious thing anyway. It probably is. Generally, anything that looks cool in Ireland was probably something to do with religion, because it's the only people who had money for a long time, or was the Catholic Church, I suppose. And also, I suppose, the Protestant Church, they also had plenty of money. They just weren't as big here, I suppose. There's a lot of that stuff here, but this is Thurles, so like I said, there's lots of cool old stuff. So there's another old tower house. That would have been quite a defensible spot back in the day. And then there's some really cool old, so there's one thing actually that I see is missing from a lot of places I go to, is like a town square. So this is the town square of Thurles. And if you come to Ireland, pretty much every city, town, maybe not the cities as much, I'm trying to think, Dublin, no, actually no, even Dublin, every single city and town has a kind of a defined centre, a centre of where everyone gathers, and, you know, where all the main shops are, and you'll have lots of, you know, really old buildings. And that's one thing that I was surprised by in America, is that, you know, you have the main street, but it's all so new. There's no real old buildings, and, you know, that's different, I suppose, for me. It's something we wouldn't have that here. Thurles, by the way, has no defined traffic system. It's just kind of like go and hope you don't get knocked over. That's how I do it anyway. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's a terrible system. Especially if you're not from here. Of course, left, right, right, left. But like you can see all, you know, the old stonework and stuff here it's been around a long time. But anyway, right, so that's kind of what, also the gist of what I'm talking about is, all these old buildings have been reused, and we do it with buildings all the time as humans. You know, if there's an old building, people generally actually like to get in there and you know, and they'll refurbish it, they'll modernize it, they'll put their new kitchens, new bathroom, new plumbing, new electrics, everything in there, and they're delighted that it's a new thing inside an old thing. And that's, I think, what I'd love to see done with bikes is, you know, like we have the power, I suppose, to say, hey, right, let's build a few engines that fit into like this CBF frame, let's build a few engines that fit into that Blackbird frame as well, you know, wheels, all that stuff. It should be easy to get, and obviously all this stuff is supported for a long time, but the problem is it's really not cost effective, which is why a lot of people obviously go for a brand new bike. But then you see, it's funny to me that a lot of people go for brand new bikes, but they're really nostalgic about the older stuff. And it's not like the older stuff is completely just you know, can't be got. It absolutely can. You can have an older bike. You can do a certain amount of modernization yourself. Look at me on the Gixxer, you know, and even more modern Gixxer engines can fit into that frame. It's just, it's not easy. But what I'd love to see, and you know, I'm very anti like over-regulation anyway, but what I would love to see in the future is, you know, manufacturers are told, right, you can keep building new stuff all you want, absolutely no problem, but also your new stuff, you have to provide retrofit kits at a reasonable cost to retrofit your new engines and whatever else into the older bikes. Because if you even save on the manufacture of the frame, the plastics, you know, the controls, all that stuff, you know, why don't we? Or even just say, right, like, you know, there's a refurbish, and look at that, that's some view, isn't it? Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Well, anyway, you know, like, have places that refurbish and try make stuff cost effective, because then all this nostalgia, you know, people can feed off it, that, you know, you keep the older bike going. And also, I would hope with a Dodge, like, I believe that part of the, as far as my knowledge goes, I believe that a large part of why modern cars have to comply with the Euro 5 and all that absolute nonsense that no one seems to like is due to the fact that they're new. And obviously, you know, if you have an older thing and you refurbish it at home, you don't have to comply with those regulations. So if you have an older bike and there's somewhere that we can bring them to, and this is maybe something, a business I should try start in the future on my own, and you know, you bring it, get the engine refurbished, get new brakes put on. I think my camera is gone. Oh, thank God it's still there. Yeah. Oh man, I was chatting away and I looked back because I was keeping an eye and I was like, oh, I think it's gone.
That was obviously the overtake.
Yeah. It's just you just go too fast. That's the problem. The 360 camera survives another day. We're only 10 minutes away anyway. Actually, that's one thing that, in fairness, my theory doesn't work with, is cameras. It's something that I've always been interested in. Obviously, I like my older bikes and stuff, so you know, I've always considered, you know, why don't more services like that exist? And there's people who do it. Obviously, 2 Up 2 Down Insta has an old Africa Twin that he's rebuilt once already, and he's going to rebuild it again and do the engine. So the people who have, you know, the massive passion to do it, it exists for them. But I would like to see it be more attainable for more people, for more standard people. And let me know what you think in the comments. I'm actually really interested to know if there was the option to have something rebuilt to a degree that it was like new, you know, with maybe uprated brakes, some more modern brakes, you know, more modern master cylinders, you know, wheels, the whole shebang, all that good stuff, you know, like suspension. Just basically modernize an older frame, an older engine. Would that be something you're interested in? Because, like, I look at this bike, for instance, right, and I look at the new bike Honda brought out, the NT 1100 with the Africa Twin engine, which is a tourer like this, It still has a chain, so you know it hasn't the improvement got that it has like a shaft drive, which to my mind is a huge miss. To be honest, for a tour like that, I think they should have probably tried to go shaft drive with it, because the thing that this bike had, the NT1100 doesn't have, is the NT1100 isn't anywhere close to as sporty as this. You know, this is an engine derived from a Fireblade. That is an engine derived from the Africa Twin, which by all accounts is a fantastic engine. But my way of looking at it is, why in the hell would I not just buy this exact bike and do what I've done to it? You know, uprate the suspension. Both suspensions have been done, front and back, and I'm very, very pleased with them. They feel so much better than they did stock. But other than that, there's really nothing missing from this bike that I would like. If you were to say, hey, you know, from a new bike, what would you get? Like I said, I don't consider this bike old, but if you were to say a new bike, you know, what do you feel this bike is missing? I would probably say just the brakes. I would prefer more modern brakes, but that's something I can easily do. So that's kind of like, look at that view, that is absolutely gorgeous as well. But that's something that is absolutely doable, that I could do myself and then have the bike that I pretty much want to have. So it's a really difficult thing, because the NT1100 has no more power than this. Obviously, being an inline twin, it has a much different power delivery, which maybe people would prefer for touring. That's very much personal preference. But for me, you know, this bike does everything I want from a tourer. I absolutely love it, and it does everything I want from a daily bike as well. So it's just a great bike, and that's kind of, you know, where I'm at is, if I can get one of these for, really, they're very small money these days, why not buy one of them and then modernize it? You know, let me know what you think. Would you rather get something like this that doesn't have all the modern electronics? It only has ABS, and a pretty unintrusive ABS at that. And would you like to just modernize it? And to be honest, if I was putting on modern brakes, it wouldn't even have ABS anymore anyway, so it'd be fine. I imagine other countries, if the bike came with ABS, you might have to keep ABS on it. I'm not sure about other countries' rules. But I know here I'd be absolutely fine to remove the ABS. But let me know what you think in the comments. Would you, if the option was there to do up an older bike, just modernize it, make it as reliable as a modern bike, whether that be by, you know, making a carbureted bike fuel injected, adding some modern brakes, you know, adding some modern fueling systems, etc. Would that be something that you would be interested in as a bike person, or do you think it's just as easy go and spend bigger money on you know, a brand new bike? And that's something as well, like, is that obviously this whole theory I'm talking about, it would have to be cheaper than buying a new bike. I think it'd have to be cheaper, and that's often the problem, is refurbing stuff is just still very expensive. Slow, dangerous bends ahead. That means good bends generally. The ground is just a bit wet around here. It was dry earlier, it was lovely. They're a bit slippy, alright, but it is beautiful. This is one direction I haven't really come on the videos before, and it's a direction I plan on doing. Where's my... oh, it's still there. Doing more of. I don't know, will I put the 360 cam onto someone else's bike yet? It's really nerve-wracking. Oh, donkeys! Hello, donkeys. Stay on the dry line. Beautiful. Now, this is the area, which Cullahill, by the way, Cullahill Castle is a castle built in the 1400s. So it is not quite 1660, it is not quite 600 years old, but it's not far off it. And it was used for about 200 years up until the mid 1600s. So very, very old, and it's still kind of there. Really, the main thing is I just wanted to come and show it to you. And you know, there's one thing that I'd love to do. There's this real old like house in Kilkenny. It's not a house, it's more like a kind of a hotel. and it's currently for sale, and it's like excellent, you know, B&B hotel perspective. But if I won the lotto, I would buy that place and turn it into like a sanctuary for bikes. It's a real pity my drone is working. Oh, the drone! Why the drone isn't working? So currently, it's an older drone. I have the Mavic Air, and now the Mavic app isn't supporting my phone type and whatever else. It's just, it treats it as a charger, which is, I'm not gonna lie, very frustrating, because it was expensive. Ooh, I haven't had it that long, and I do think that that's kind of shitty business practices, that if they just decide not to update for that stuff anymore. That's quite a walk. Let's see if we get in trouble for pulling in here. Maybe not. Well, it survived. How nervous were you?
Well, it was your camera, so not very.
True. We have to walk up here apparently.
Yeah.
I don't see any private property signs.
No. It does look like farmers on though, and they can be cranky.
Farmers cranky? Oh, what are you talking about? Don't be lying about the lovely Irish farmers who definitely are never cranky. Don't be lying.
Could have told me I'd be on camera, I would have shaved or...
Why would you shave? Then people would see your chin.
Oh no, I don't mean shave. I mean trim.
The thing I was talking about on the way here, right, is, do you remember in school we were taught that 3 R's, reduce, reuse, recycle?
Yeah.
No one ever does reduce or reuse with the likes of bikes and cars. It's just purely recycle.
Okay.
So the thing I like, something I'd love to maybe do myself at some point is like refurb bikes.
Yeah.
Because you obviously like older bikes too.
I love them. Something I want to do as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially since getting that dirt bike. I'd love to find like an old dirt bike, easy to work on.
There you go.
Yeah,
but like, for instance, right, say you put 100,000 miles onto your Blackbird.
Yeah.
If there was the option to like send that off and get it refurbed, like new modernized brakes, modernized suspension, engine gone through, and it was cheaper than buying a brand new bike, is that something you would look at doing?
I think so. Depends on the bike. It's a good idea as well, because the likes of the Blackbird, people love those bikes, and they're deadly bikes. Like for a 99 bike, like why would you want to just forget about that generation of bikes? Like they're unreal.
It's beautiful,
and a lot of them will just rot away because there isn't anyone providing that, unless the owner is.
You know what's really funny, right? We didn't discuss this at all beforehand, but you just echoed exactly what I was talking about. It's nostalgia. People love the older bikes.
Absolutely. I wasn't even around for the Blackbird's generation, right? The reason I love
He's
Blackbirds, 12. 24. But still, I'm 12. Young. I'm young.
You were around for Blackbirds. You were just young.
I was 2 when that came out. That bike is 2 years older than me.
You are so much younger than me when you say it like that.
99. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm young, but my uncle loves these bikes.
I'm just going to go get sick over here for a second.
But like, my uncle loves these bikes, and I've obviously picked up that love and nostalgia of them off him. You know what I mean? I love that. And it's cool as well, because you show up on one of these bikes and all the people who remember those bikes come to talk to you, and they relive the nostalgia of them. And it's not even that old a bike, like, you know what I mean? There's lads going around on bikes from the 80s and 90s.
And it's something that is done a lot with cars, is resto modding. Say in America, they're like, you can do a restoration, which is your standard. He's coming to kill us. You're so nervous. You have your standard restoration, and that was a dirty look I've ever seen. He's coming back with the shotgun. But you have your standard restoration, like I did with the Merc, which the Merc still drives like it was built in 1981, which is not great. Then you have your resto mods, which is like what you see what lads do with the 67, 68 Mustangs, like modern engine, modern running gear. I'd love to see that done with bikes.
Yeah.
And I don't see why, because like modern bikes, they don't have any more power. They're not much lighter.
It depends what types of bikes you're talking about.
My comparison was my bike.
Yeah,
the one that came out from Honda very recently, that kind of is a replacement for this, but not really, is the NT1100. That new touring one with the Africa Twin engine.
I know the one, yeah. This is meant to be a great.
It has no more power than that. It still has a big slouchy, crappy suspension from factory, and in my opinion looks worse.
Yeah, I don't like the look of it.
Yeah, me neither. So like, why would you pick one of them brand new? Is also like, for here it's going to be like €18,000.
18,000 for sure, yeah.
You can buy one of them for 4 or 5, put another 4 or 5 into it, and you have, in my opinion, a better bike, better engine.
Yeah, because until you have like decent suspension, which most stock bikes don't come with, or old bikes. Like I never rode on decent suspension until I got my track suspension service, and even it's not that good. Like, but it makes a massive difference.
Dean, did you hear that?
Oh, it's because the front forks. It's not Dean's fault.
Stop cursing.
Oh yeah, sorry. Hey, no, my shock is good. Shout out to Dean. But yeah, my front forks are just poor. Like they're just old and they're damaged. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it still makes a massive difference. Modern brakes, like a good master cylinder, some braided lines, like the bike you have, some good pads, which is massive. Stock bikes come with bad pads.
Yeah. Shit's fine. You can say shit because that's just describing something that people excrete.
Absolutely shite pads. But you know what I mean? Yeah, like
I do.
Some modern upgrades.
So,
but saying that, I quite enjoy an original bike.
No, and there's nothing wrong with an original bike. But to finish off this video, right? I think that 100% of bikers interviewed, because it was me and you.
Yeah.
We would support.
That's conclusive.
That is conclusive. We would support a refurbing and restoration business for bikes.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, there's not many new bikes I want to buy, like brand new ones. There are a few, I will admit, but not a lot.
I feel like it's almost wasteful as well. Like you're spending that much money on something. Like
I swear we haven't prepared this.
Yeah, no, we haven't. But there's like incredible bikes you can get for like. Now I know the price of bikes has gone crazy here, but say like 3
That's
years
here though.
ago,
That's only here.
Well, it is kind of everywhere, but it is particularly here. But say 3 years ago here, you could get incredible bikes for like, you know, $3,000.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of money into them, you'd have an incredible bike for $5,000. Now, fair enough, nowadays that might be 6, 7.
But still, it's much more affordable than a brand new one.
Exactly, because the price of new bikes here is criminal. You know, we have the
VRT
and everything. Like it's
which
crazy.
actually should be a crime.
Oh, it is.
I think it should be a crime. But we actually made it up here. We're not out of breath at all. Christmas. I'm blaming Christmas.
I've been exercising off last 2 days, so you can store anyway.
Oh, that's it, yeah. But the view from up here is incredible. You can sort of see the bikes. No, you can't. I can. People on the camera can't. But this is Cullahill Castle. Like I said, nearly 600 years old. This one might be a bit too far gone to renovate and live in. Oh, walking up that steep hill in all gears, not fun. There you go. So my breath will come back eventually. We made it up here. It is very cool. Worth the walk, I think.
View from the other side's gonna look.
Huh?
View from the other side.
Yes, I'm just going to give a slow pan of this view. Absolutely beautiful up here. Let's have lots of castle left strewn in the ground, which can happen. Oh wow, not bad at all.
Lovely view of the quarry.
Yeah, so you can probably see the quarry just there. It's all a big quarry. Well, I'm glad we made it up here. So there is what's left of Cullahill. That stack there looks not so good, but you can kind
Areas there, isn't it?
yeah, you can kind of see this is actually what we're standing on, is old bits of castle as well, just fallen over hundreds of years. Which is mental to say, it's actually literally hundreds of years. But you can see why they built a castle here. You can see everything. So that's it. That's a little bonus feature video. Let's get really close up to his face and make him uncomfortable. So that is the actual end of the video now. It'll go back to me and Aidan talking poo for a few minutes, and then that'll be the end of the end. So if you want to come to Cullahill, actually the very nice local people said it's fine to come up here, so if you do ride out here you can come up here without getting in trouble, which is always nice. It's not fun to piss off farmers, they're just trying to, you know, keep their animals safe and whatnot. So yeah, come up here, the view is incredible, well worth the walk even in full gear. Bye. What's really cool that I just noticed as well is out here, I'm actually standing on an old wall. Yeah, so this kind of, I don't know how well it's going to come across in camera, but all here is a big dent. Then I'm standing up on
kind of what we can kind of see there. You can see the ripples back up to the castle, and that's definitely an old outer wall, I would say. So this really did dominate this hill, which is, like I said, absolutely insane view-wise. And I would imagine back in the day it was probably even better with more trees and stuff, because the 1400s to the 1600s would have kind of been before the place was denuded of trees as much as it is to this day, say. So like you can kind of see over there, that whole place would have been trees like that bit, instead of what it is now. So yeah, really cool. Imagine if that was a big old bike shed, it'd be class. Anyway, this is actually the end of the video now. Goodbye. On that, I will end up this video because it's starting to rain, and it's yeah, it's quite a long one, so I'm gonna have some editing to do. But, and you're gonna have to ask a outro crew question, so start thinking. It doesn't matter, you're gonna have to ask. So that was the disappointment that was Cullahill Castle. There will be some photos thrown up so you can see it. Oh, they're coming over the fence. They're definitely the farmers, I'd say. I'll take some photos of it once those people and their children leave. And it's, do you know that's nearly 600 years old?
Nice.
Yeah, was used for 200 years. And you can see why, like it had some view of the surroundings. It is absolutely.
From up there you can see the other direction.
Yeah, so which is mental. But anyway, right, let us know what you think of what we just spoke about. Would you also like to see a business like that is a lot more affordable than currently exists? And yeah, until next time, thank you very much for watching. Special thank you as always to all of my patrons. You're all legends. Adios. Outro, good question, do it.
So it's actually a question for me. Do you think I should put some Black Widows, like Michael has, on this bike?
Yes.
Instead of those stock cans?
I'll answer that for you. Yeah.
Do you reckon? I'm not sure.
His standard cans? The nice ones my bike has.
Yeah. That's the question. I'm torn. I like
That's
the original
question.
look.
No.
Also my wallet doesn't.
Oh yeah.
Take your time.